One day sober for an alcoholic is a miracle. 14 years seems unimaginable. But with these 14 habits, I was able to make the impossible an everyday occurrence. Whether you're looking to get sober, help someone else, or learn some life-changing habits, this video will leave you with the tools to live an unimaginable life. I'm Joaquim, and I'm a licensed mental health therapist who has been working in this field for over 10 years. Life wasn't always this good though. Before I defeated my addiction, I was an absolute slave to it. It made me do a long list of things and substances I am not proud of. At my darkest hour, when I was actively planning my death, I met God and was changed forever. Thankfully, the Good Shepherd didn't just save me from my addictions. He gave me the extremely rewarding privilege to join his team and help to save more of his lost sheep. These principles are just too powerful. These habits are just too great. So let's not waste any time and jump into them right now. Acceptance is the principle that allows you to get to work. It's a foundational principle. Without this principle, you can't receive any other. This was a habit that I needed to get first and fast. The habit that allowed me to do this was when I decided to stop lying to myself. Because of my addiction, this habit was a lifesaver for me. But the truth is that it actually is for everyone. I needed to stop lying to myself so I could admit I had a problem and do something about it. I promise you, there is a list of things and dreams that you need to make possible, but it's impossible until you stop lying to yourself. We lie to ourselves because we think it protects us. Really, it protects your ego. But your ego is getting in the way of you experiencing the best life. Look at the areas in your life that are causing you problems or slowing you down and stop lying to yourself. If there's something you know you've been lying to yourself about and want to start making some changes, give this video a like. We're going to touch on 13 other principles to help get you there. Faith was the foundational principle I needed that gave me permission to try. Without faith, every decision becomes crazy, even the ones that would obviously save your life. Faith tells you that that thing you are unsure about is not a maybe, it's an absolutely. Faith gives you permission to jump without a parachute because you know that you will stick the landing. I didn't need faith that being sober would make a better life. That was clear as day. I needed faith that I could get sober. The next habit freed me from that. I practiced faith in Jesus. This was the most freeing of my habits. I no longer needed to be good enough or place any faith in myself. I knew that if Jesus could create the heavens and earth, walk on water, and defeat death, there wasn't a thing in the world that he couldn't help me to do. The habit of practicing faith in Jesus freed me of the fear of myself. Every day you put your faith in Jesus is another day you've lived without fear. I wrote a book on this to help husbands in their marriages. It's called How to Love Her Like Christ Loved the Church. That marriage-saving book is the first link in the description. Faith without works is dead. The next principle I'll introduce you to is the works. It's the works because it encourages the action. The next principle we'll discuss is courage. I had faith that I could get sober. I had faith that I could be successful in life. Without the courage to take the next step, the faith would have died, and it would have been my fault. My courage thanked my faith for the compass and ran into the dark forest. Well, if we're being honest, it was more of a brisk walk. My courage helped develop my next habit. I got comfortable being uncomfortable. I don't think you realize how uncomfortable I really was. I used to struggle with horrible social anxiety. I was unable to enter a grocery store without something in my system because my mind would torment me with paranoia that everyone was watching and judging me. If I did have to talk to someone without a substance in me, I would become such a nervous wreck. The muscles in my face would start twitching from all the anxiety. When this happened, I would make a quick escape and get out of there. When I decided to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, over time, I realized that people were not such a big deal. Regular exposure to people while sober helped me to see that the thoughts in my head weren't true. Don't believe everything you think and start embracing the uncomfortable. Listen, these are the 14 habits that set me free, not the one pill that instantly changed my life. Habits are not instantaneous. They take time to become habits. In order to give them their fair time, I needed to develop the principle of patience. This was hard for me, like any addict, because we've been surviving off instant relief. This is overwhelming. There's a pill for that. This is depressing. There's a drink for that. You know, it's actually not so different from the rest of humanity. We all want the quick fix, no delays, same-day delivery to our problems. Patience helped me with my next habit, which was to don't quit before the miracle. I know you're tired. I know it seems like it's not going to happen. But what if patience was just a measurement of your faith and success was just a reward of the faithful? If I would have had a drink the second before I was willing to be sober, I wouldn't be here today. If I would have gave up last night, I wouldn't have gotten up this morning. Patience pays, and it pays well. Don't quit even a nanosecond before payday. Don't quit before your miracle. A couple seconds ago, I mentioned what would happen if I drank the second before I was willing to be sober. It's funny for the principle of willingness to follow patience, because with willingness, time is not on your side. If you wait for willingness, you may miss your ride. If you're waiting for willingness, life-saving opportunity will pass you by. That's why the next habit was so powerful for me. I learned that if I stay willing, I don't have to get willing. I made the decision to not be the kid to raise his hand first in class, but to be the kid who never put his hand down. Stay willing. That voice in your head that tells you, now's not the best time, let's see if it stops raining in a bit, or I'm just not ready yet, needs to be thrown away. Fire it. No one's ready. We're only willing. And if you stay willing, you never have to get willing. Sobriety is a lifelong endeavor. There may be times when you drop the ball, and a huge congratulations to you for getting back up, but you can't go into it thinking short term. If your goal is to be sober for a week, I'd be impressed if you get 3 days, honestly. Sobriety requires one of my favorite principles, commitment. I love commitment because it doesn't need motivation and it doesn't care about your excuses. Rain or shine, ready or not, here we come. It's ironic that addicts fear commitment because we spend our lives committed to things that destroy us. Now you just have to take that same addict level of commitment and turn it to good. Commitment forced my next habit of no backing out. Once I say I'm going to do something, I do not allow myself to get out of it. If it still can and should be done, then I already consider it done. I'm just waiting for time to catch up with me. This is important because commitment works as a whole. Every time you allow yourself to back out, you weaken the power of your commitment. No commitment is big or small because no failed commitment comes without consequences. If you say you're in, then there's no backing out. Faith, courage, and willingness give you permission to get started. Commitment guarantees that you'll cross the finish line, but you need something in the middle to help make the journey enjoyable. That principle is persistence. Life doesn't care that you're doing something positive for yourself or your family. Tough times will come and harder times will hang out, whether you invited them or not. Persistence doesn't just prepare you for tough times, it provides you with the power to push through it. Persistence made me a fighter. Persistence gave me the habit of pushing back harder. You already are willing. You already have some momentum. Don't let life take that away from you. You've been through way too much to give up now. Show life you like to play rough too and push it back harder. While that can mean you increase your intensity, pushing back harder doesn't require that. If you're doing less because you're more stressed, you are still pushing back harder. Think of it like this. It's easy to do 10 bench presses in 10 seconds if the barbell is 10 pounds. But if you only do one bench press after 1 minute because the weight is 1,000 pounds, you're an absolute legend. No matter how much weight life throws your way, forget about the speed, forget about the reps, and just push back. If you're doing that, then you're also pushing back harder. In 12-step groups, there is one principle that is rightly so encouraged heavily. It's the principle of service, being of service to others. The reason is that it fights the selfish nature of the addict and helps them to not stress over their own problems. It's hard to worry about you when you are focused on helping someone else. Service gives you the ability to change your nature and prevent worry from getting you to return to it. A Bible verse that helped me take service to the next level. It's 2 Corinthians 9 verse 7, where it says, God loves a cheerful giver. My mind asked me, why do I have to be cheerful about it? Isn't giving good enough? Meditating on that helped me see that attitude was just as important, if not more, than the action. This helped me build my next life-saving habit, service with a smile. I realized that this made the most impact on others and myself. If I hold the door open for you, you feel thankful. But if I look in your eyes, smile, and say, I hope you have a great day today, you feel special. That simple act changed the entire trajectory of your day. No, our day. Because now I also feel special. I feel changed, impactful, and now appreciated. Doing service will make you feel good, but doing service with a smile will make you feel heavenly. If you appreciate people who do things for the sake of being nice and not just to be recognized, give this video a like. There are so many more gold nuggets in the Bible that you can uncover. Getting into heaven is amazing, but it's filled with wisdom to make life here on earth amazing as well. I once heard a man say the Bible stood for basic instructions before leaving earth. I love that. It's way more than just a rule book. It's our manual to live life to the fullest. We're talking sobriety today, but it also helped me to create a marriage-saving ebook titled, How to Love Her Like Christ Loved the Church. If you want help with sobriety, then it's almost certain you need help in your relationships too. Don't miss out on my ebook. It's the first link in this description. I like the short but strong saying of closed mouths don't get fed. It comes across as harsh, but it's actually trying to save your life. We need food to live like we need feedback. And you can't get any feedback if you aren't communicating. If I don't tell people I'm struggling, then people don't know how to help me. If I don't know where I am truly struggling, then I don't know what really to say. That's why listening is the biggest part of communication. Listening is the foundation of our conversation that we build upon. Getting good at listening to yourself will make you better at listening to others. This taught me my next life-saving habit. I learned to hear fully and respond wisely. My thoughts were no longer just silly words, and behaviors were no longer random actions. I listened to what was in my mind and watched closely to how my actions reacted to it. I heard myself fully and responded wisely. When alone, that was positive self-talk or personal encouragement. When around my support network, I clearly shared where I was at and how I needed support. If you want to be fed, you have to communicate. If you want to communicate well, you have to hear fully and respond wisely. I thought about putting this principle after persistence because it helps make persistence easy. Whether you want to hold on to your sobriety, marriage, or career, this is an absolute necessary principle. That is the principle of adaptation. It's necessary because times, scenarios, and people change. You can't rely on today's skills to save you tomorrow. You need to consistently grow, but more than that, make growth a part of your routine. My next habit did just that. I made it a habit to continue facing my fears. This is mental weightlifting. Yes, your fears can feel heavy, but if you're constantly facing them, they soon start to feel lighter. Really, you're just getting stronger. This can't be a one and done. The goal is to increase awareness and stay willing. Keep seeking out your next fear and face it. Then your next fear and face that. When you continue facing your fears will continue to fear you. This next principle has to follow facing your fears, or our mental weightlifting. Just like in physical exercise, any mental exercise requires rest. Our next principle is to replenish. You know, this is arguably the most important part of weightlifting. If you're lifting heavy, but you're not giving your body proper nutrition and rest, you are body breaking, not bodybuilding. When you work out, you are actually making tiny tears in your muscles. Your recovery is your body repairing those tears. and strengthening to make you bigger and stronger. Rest isn't just important, it's absolutely necessary. That's why when Jesus was criticized about the Sabbath, he replied in Mark 9, verse 27, "The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath." I think we can trust him on that, being the creator of man and all. The Sabbath, or rest, is a gift provided to serve our growth. That is why I made it a habit to stay on top of my self-care. Since I'm pushing myself to levels never achieved before, I need to be taking care of myself better than ever before. I'm seeking rest, relaxation, and giving my mind the best chance to continue adapting. One of my favorite things to do for my self-care, by the way, is tending to my garden. The patience it teaches me and joy it rewards me with is unparalleled. I bet you didn't expect me to bring up gardening. Don't leave me hanging here. Let me know in the comments what some of the ways you like to do self-care. Our next principles and habits will be centered around taking care of yourself. It's important, so I'm glad you stayed committed to this video. Bravo, by the way. The next principle doesn't just dictate how you act, but how others act towards you. This is important because it decreases your temptation and encourages you to maintain your progress. The next principle is the one of honor. Honor is more than just a moral idea. It shapes how you view yourself, which then shapes how others view you. Your honor keeps you from doing that thing that will get in the way of who you now are. I wanted to take that up a notch, however. I made it a habit to honor God with my whole heart, soul, and mind. I chose to do this because God is good, but mainly because he's unimaginably better than I ever could be. By making it my goal to honor him, I would not only create the greatest change in myself, but would also be making the greatest influence on others too. Honoring God with your heart is how you love. Honoring God with your soul is your deepest and true self. Honoring God with your mind is your beliefs and thoughts. If you're practicing these principles honest enough and long enough, you'll start getting really good. Not just at sobriety, but in life in general. This is amazing, and I love this for you, but it's now that you have to start being extra careful. It's possible and will happen that you will forget you had a problem in the first place. You'll forget what you went through and what it took to get here. It's in that moment that you can throw this all away. That's why it's important to practice humility. Remember that you are just a man and be humble. This habit saves you today and tomorrow too. It doesn't just keep you in check, but it'll write you checks as well. Financially, yes, but mentally and spiritually too. It's why Jesus was quoted as saying, "Whoever humbles themselves like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever humbles himself will be exalted." Jesus himself was the perfect display of humility. From washing his disciples' dirty feet to being the perfect word of God and sacrificing himself for imperfect man. You can't go wrong trying to be like Jesus. I guess that's why my sobriety has been doing so right. More on that in my ebook, by the way. We're about to bring it home. This is the last of our 14 principles, and this one is extremely underestimated. The last principle is self-love. Listen, don't make this principle sound all hippie. It's a war strategy. Self-love is self-preservation. If you loved yourself, you wouldn't put that substance in your body. If you loved yourself, you wouldn't sign up for those problems. That's why my last habit is to make sure I always do something that says, "I love me." If you loved you, you'd do that workout. If you loved you, you'd open up that Bible. If you loved you, you would start eating like you wanted to love you much, much longer. In fact, that could have been the title for this video. 14 habits that prove that I love me. I'm sure you would have scrolled right past that narcissist though. Let me know in the comments which one of these habits was your favorite. These 14 habits didn't just get me sober and save my life. They changed my life forever. The most beautiful thing is that this change has now changed the course of my children's lives as well. I want you to do this for you, but I'm a family man, so I want you to do this for them too. Make sure you don't miss out on my marriage-saving ebook, How to Love Her Like Christ Loved the Church. It's the first link in the description. Make the rest of your marriage the best years of your marriage. If you appreciate this video or my way of delivering it, give this video a like. If you want to bless someone else, share this video with them. If you don't want to stop here and want to hang out some more, check out the next video. Until then, God bless you and your family.